And so the next day they came to us and they're like, Stacey has dropped 8%. Whoa. I don't know when me and my husband just said, give her formula. Because at that point, it was not about... Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Wanoyaji. Thank you guys for subscribing, love, like on my previous video. Now let's go straight to the point. Today's video, I'm going to talk about Stacey. And I'm talking about Stacey in the context of children and motherhood. There's so many things. I did a video saying I think 10 or 5 things I've learned in my few months of being a mother. And there was one, and I said no one talks about how difficult and how painful breastfeeding is. I'm here to make another separate video about breastfeeding, and I'm talking strictly based on my own experience. When I had Stacey in the hospital, she wasn't taking breast milk from my breast. Like, she wasn't taking it. She wasn't latching on my nipples at all. Like, she wasn't taking. So I wanted to do exclusive breastfeeding with Stacey. I've heard that conversation with her dad, and we knew that was all we wanted. So when I had her and she was not latching, they said, I know things like this happen because I've been around friends and family that have given birth. And I was like, I'm not going to give her an external formula. She should just keep trying. And then they gave me a breast pump that I was pumping on my breast. And but because it was my first time, it wasn't really coming out much at all. Like, it wasn't coming out much at all. So, but she was just feeding on the very little one that she had. She came out at 38 weeks and a couple of days, and she came out at 3.51 kg. So the first day, and we gave birth to Stacey in the morning, so we gave birth around 11:15 a.m. So the first day, so in the morning up until night, and then the next, so she didn't really take much, but I just felt like if I keep putting her mouth on my breast or my nipples, eventually she'll get used to it. And then the next day they came to us and said, Stacey, usually they say when kids come out, they weigh a certain amount, and then when they poop and the rest, their weight drop, but it's usually around maybe 2 or 4%. And so the next day they came to us and they're like, Stacey has dropped 8%. Whoa. I don't know when me and my husband just said, give her formula. Because at that point, it was not about... At that point, it was not about, oh, I don't want to do formula, I want to do exclusive breastfeeding. It was about the girl needs to eat, right? So we gave her formula. We gave her baby milk because my breast milk was not coming out much. In fact, that was one of the reasons why even normally I gave birth through CS, but usually they'll discharge you, I think, after 2 days or something, because you just have to do like checkups and the rest, if I'm not mistaken, because Stacey was not taking breast milk, and they're like, I have to have, if I don't want to give her breast milk, it's fine, but if I'm going to give her breast milk, they need to make sure that I have a formula, I have a pattern to give her food before we can leave the hospital. So I'm like, what are we going to do? Like, what are we going to do? My breast was full and swollen and so sore and painful, like everything. Now, before I gave birth, I knew there was something called normal nipples and inverted nipples. I have a friend that had inverted nipples, and breastfeeding was a big deal for her. So I heard they usually will have to like put injection and pull out the nipple or something. I don't have normal nipples. I don't have inverted nipples. What I would say I have are flat nipples. Now, when I was growing up, that used to be a very good thing to me because I don't like to wear bras. Yes, I never liked to wear it. So I could literally wear the lightest clothes without a bra and you won't see my nipples, because that's how flat my nipples is. Like, even when I'm cold, they don't, nothing. Like, my nipples are very, very flat. They don't even respond to anything at all. So I didn't know it was a big deal until I had Stacey. And so because the nipples are flat and she's a baby, she was struggling to breastfeed, she doesn't really get that pointed thing that she can grip on and then start sucking. So it's flat. So you really need to know how to use it. So I really don't know how to explain. So we tried so many things. They gave me a nipple support. So it has like a pointed mouth. You just connect it to your breast and then the baby sucks from that nipple support. And then if the suction is strong enough, then the breast milk pours in the thing and then it gets to. But because Stacey number 1 was not even struggling, like she was not even trying at all to suck. No, she wasn't. So it was a big deal. And so I said, okay, fine. When I get home, I was going to get, and then because I was expressing my milk for the first time, it was a bit painful too. So it wasn't really coming out much. So what I did was that when they discharged us, we bought extra formula. And then I said I bought breast pump. So I was going to be pumping out my breast. So when we got to the house that day, luckily for us, she didn't eat it on the way. It was a 1-hour drive to the house. She didn't eat on the way, and then we got to the house. I quickly expressed breast milk and I gave her. So moving forward, even though we bought extra formula, we didn't use that extra formula. She had formula in the hospital for the first 3 days that she was born. Then when we got home, I started expressing my milk. So I was putting her mouth on my nipples like every day. My friend doctors used to call me them all the time and tell me that I just have to keep trying, else she was not going to take from my breast. And I needed her to take from my breast because it will help me the time that I have to sit down and start expressing milk, the time that I have to sleep, like so many things. So every day I just kept trying. It was so painful. See, nipple pain has a connection with your brain, because there's a way your baby will bite your nipples that you'll feel the pain up here. Like that is where you feel the pain. Like that were like the most painful times of my life. So I was really struggling for her to breastfeed. She was not interested. If you put her mouth on the breast milk, she cries. And then eventually she started getting used to the right breast but not the left. And I've heard stories of women say, oh, my baby sucked just one side of my breast, and because of that the other breast is flat, the other one, like, I just didn't want to have any of those things, right? So I was just trying. I just keep alternating, give her the left, give her the right. Trust me, my baby did not take breast milk from my breast until 3 weeks after. And every day I just kept trying. I just kept trying. And eventually she started getting used to it gradually. So at 3 weeks after, that was when we now started taking. It was still very painful. I had wounds, like blood was dripping down my nipples, and they would just keep telling me, give her. When she sucks it, it doesn't mind that she sucks that one. The nipples will heal. Like, those were the most painful 3 weeks of my life. And then when eventually she now started taking the breast milk, the challenge was now like, let her not bite me. That was another story for another day. So anyway, why am I saying this? It has been like a struggle for breastfeeding from day one and till today, till Stacy stopped breastfeeding at 10 months. I didn't stop her, by the way. She decided on her own that she was not interested anymore. And right now, I think it's because she's so used to pacifiers. I'm going to make another video and talk about pacifiers as well. So she stopped taking breast milk at 10 months. Up until 10 months, I still struggled to breastfeed Stacy. I still struggled with breastfeeding. Like, breastfeeding is a skill. I don't know if it's because my boobs were a bit heavy. Like, I see people just put nipples in their baby's mouth and then they leave their breast and they are doing what they are doing. No. At every time, my hand has to support my breast. If not, she won't be able to take it, because it's like the breast will just cover her full face. The whole breast, like, I struggled with breastfeeding for the longest of time, and eventually she was able to take the breast milk after 3 weeks, and we got used to it. And then when we relocated to our own place, I now stopped expressing completely, and then she took breast milk from the breast, and from there I continued until 6 months. So I did exclusive till 6 months. So the first 3 days she took formula in the hospital. Then the next days I used to express breast milk, give her in the feeding bottle. But then when she started taking breast milk at 3 weeks, I stopped expressing at all, and then I gave her straight from the breast. And then we continued just breast milk until she was 6 months, and then I started introducing other things gradually. So yeah, that's our story on breastfeeding. Thank you guys. I'm going to do another video on feeding, because this Stacy's feeding is a whole video, right? Thank you guys. See you on my next one. Bye.